Hey YouTube, Atheist Vapist checking in. Today we're going to talk about the FDA's new regulations. Oh, this is something that some of us have been wanting, but a lot of us have been dreading. But, you know, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. We all knew it was coming. Luckily, it's not as extreme as what some of the people were hoping that were pushing for the regulation. Basically, some of their arguments against us e-cigarette users is, one, they claim that it doesn't actually help quit cigarettes. I would say and argue that anyone that I know from Twitter, Facebook, the e-cigarette forums, no one that I've talked to said, I started using nicotine on a vaporizer and switched to an analog. All of them say, I started as a heavy smoker, potentially giving myself cancer, killing my family, my pets through secondhand smoke, and wanted to make a change in my life that not only was healthier for me, but for the environment around me, for everyone around me. And you know why that is? Because there's no carcinogens in the e-liquid, okay? It is propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, natural and added flavors, and nicotine. Yes, nicotine is a neurotoxin, okay? So are many other things if you have them in too high of quantities. I don't disagree that nicotine is dangerous if children get their hands on it, and I think it's ridiculous that companies don't put childproof caps and warnings on their bottles. I have yet to come across one other than at a convenience store. But I've seen on the web that there are companies, big companies, that don't, and I think that's ridiculous. So some regulation is a good thing. I also am not opposed, let me just see here, one of the things would be essentially the FDA is going to mandate that companies, they have 75 days to comply, and I believe it's a 2-year total compliance period as far as phasing out products that don't meet these requirements. But anyway, they have 75 days, and the public can, you know, voice their opinion too to this ruling. But that they have to include a warning that nicotine is addictive, totally not against that. A warning about kids, you know, to keep it out of the kids' hands. They're going to regulate sales to anyone over 18, which totally makes sense. Although why they put a stipulation in there for states to up the age is ridiculous. If you can buy a cigarette at 18, why shouldn't you be able to buy a vaporizer? That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, another thing they're talking about, which a lot of people really wanted and really terrified me, and why I started stocking up on e-liquid, is they want to get rid of fruity flavors and anything that tastes good. They feel like this is a marketing ploy to hook kids. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, as if adults don't enjoy things that taste good. Yeah, I'd rather smoke something that tastes like an ashtray. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you telling me that there's an age cutoff, like at 18 all of a sudden you lose your taste buds and you don't want to enjoy good things? It blows my mind. My favorite flavor? Granny's Inclination. It's a peach cobbler. I'm sure there's kids that like peach cobbler, and I guarantee there are adults that like it as well. Strawberry flavor? Okay, universal. Who doesn't like strawberries? Who doesn't like fruit? This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I can say if the labeling is in such a way that it looks like candy or sweets, I could see a problem with that. I do agree with proper labeling, like I said, childproof caps, blah blah blah. Or any kind of marketing that might be like, ooh, this is safe, blah blah blah, because we all know there are still risks involved. Although a lot of the peer-reviewed research is showing that nicotine from a vaporizer is pretty damn harmless. So I'm not trying to sound super biased here. Obviously, I'm a vaporizer. I like to vape. I'm a vapester. I smoke this thing. But if I read a peer-reviewed study that actually had evidence other than, oh, it can make teens more addicted, I would stop using this. If it was more dangerous than what I know it to be, I wouldn't be smoking it. So far, the arguments they're having is that children are now using them. They said from 2011 to 2012, the usage among middle schoolers and high schoolers doubled. Now let's think about this for a second. Why could that be? Does causation necessarily mean, or does correlation mean causation? No, not necessarily, okay? I can tell you, I didn't see that many vaporizers a couple years ago on the market. I didn't even know these kind of things existed. What I saw was cigarette lookalikes that they sold, and they sucked ass. I didn't even know this kind of thing existed a year ago. You know why I know it does now? Because there's more on the market. There's more companies selling these things, and they're more readily available. So let's see. How could usage double among teens in that short amount of time? Could it be that before that, the same teens might have been smoking cigarettes, but now choose a vaporizer? Which, yes, it's bad that teens are smoking, but wouldn't you rather have them on the vaporizer than the analog cigarette? I know when I went to high school, I started smoking at 17, okay? A lot of kids do. It's not that hard to get cigarettes. But I think the same number of kids that are smoking cigarettes are probably equally distributed amongst the ones that are now using a vaporizer. What they don't tell you is, what is the overall tobacco use amongst middle schoolers and high schoolers? Is it much different than it was before vaporizers came out? Is the total distribution the same? I'm willing to bet it is. I'm willing to bet that, yes, more people are using vaporizers now, but that just means the same people that would have been using analogs are now using vaporizers. So in the end, isn't this the better alternative? I don't know. Something to think about for sure. And the stupid argument, again, about adults not liking sweet things. You know, we have to get rid of good flavored e-juice because why? Because kids like sweet things too? I don't know. Some of the things I do agree with, or here's another thing. They say that companies giving free samples is hooking young people. I love when companies throw in a free sample. Why would you begrudge someone for wanting to let you try something they make, so in hopes that you would like it and, you know, want to buy it? I mean, a cigarette company is allowed to have distributors go to bars and give out coupons for free packs of smokes, okay? That happens in Portland all the time. Buy one, get one free coupons, all kinds of deals. Yet that's okay. But giving a sample of e-juice, that's what's going to hook the teens. I don't know. This whole thing is a bit ridiculous. But again, regulation is not necessarily always a bad thing. But I have a feeling some of these big cigarette companies are helping write the regulation, which scares the hell out of me because they are losing money. Alright? They don't want you to switch to a vaporizer. It's not as addictive. The form of nicotine in here does not give you the same buzz or high that a cigarette does. It doesn't have the thousands of chemicals that combine and create a synergy with the nicotine in combustion that gets you high faster. That's not in here. That's a good thing. I mean, there's flavored Nicorette gum, okay? Does that make kids want to all of a sudden start chewing more Nicorette gum? I don't know. The whole thing is just stupid to me. There's already flavored tobacco. There's already flavored cigars. There's already flavored wraps. There's already flavored joint wraps, which people use for marijuana and tobacco. What makes this any different? All you're going to do if you make this taste like shit is have people switch back to cigarettes. Because at first when you do it, for me personally, I didn't really like the fruits at first. But I certainly didn't like anything that tasted like tobacco. And within a week, if I tried a cigarette, it was disgusting. You get your taste buds back, your flavor comes back. You don't want that gross, burnt nastiness anymore. You like the good flavors, okay? I think anyone can attest to this. Maybe fruit's not your cup of tea, but I guarantee if it is a tobacco flavor, it's probably not, oh, I want the Camel ashtray taste. It's probably a nice, like, pipe tobacco or something. I'm not saying that people who are switching right away don't try some tobacco flavors, but over time, I think they tend to switch. So anyway, my 2 cents on the whole thing is I'm okay with regulating it. They're going to require e-juice vendors to send in their e-juice to be tested to make sure it meets the ingredients and regulation standards that they claim. I think that's totally fine. I hope it's not super expensive and overburdening on small and up-and-coming vendors. That's going to be tough, you know, if they make it some massive fee you have to pay, which tends to happen, unfortunately. But, you know, some of the other things, you know, requiring sales to 18 and older, that's obvious. A lot of people are already doing that anyway by regulating their own websites. But now I wonder, are they still going to be able to sell online? I mean, can you buy cigarettes off the internet? Since it's going to fall under the same regulation, are we going to have to go to specific stores now, pay more? Am I going to be able to order these things off eBay anymore? I don't know. I'm thinking that's not going to be our future here much longer. So I would say, you know, in the next 2 years, things are really, really going to change with the vaping community. It's definitely going to get a lot more strict. Things are going to, cost is going to rise. They're going to tax it. All kinds of things are going to happen. all in the name of bad science and disinformation. So it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Maybe it's about time I start learning to make my own, I guess. But yeah, Atheist Vapist checking in with the new FDA regulations. Sorry for the somber news, but it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to write, you know, your congressmen, your senators, your representatives, and tell them, look, would you tell someone to stop using the patch or Nicorette gum to quit smoking? No, absolutely not, because you know they're going to die if they continue on that cigarette. So why would you stop them from this? I haven't had a cigarette since I started this. I don't ever want a cigarette again. And I am so thankful for that. So, thank you people who came up with this idea. Whoever you are saving millions of people across the world for real. And everyone across the board is trying to shut you down. But I really thank the vaping community for your fighting. You know, you're making your voices heard. If you weren't out there doing what you do, this thing probably would have been a lot worse. So, thank you everyone out there. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Share this video so people know what's going on. I know a lot of people are still kind of wondering what all the regulation is about. Know that it's not too intense yet, but it could get worse. So, if we sit down and do nothing, it will get worse. So anyway, Atheist Vapist checking out. I'm on Facebook.com/TheAtheistVapist, Twitter.com/AtheistVapist. Make sure to subscribe and like my channel. And peace out, YouTube. Y'all have a good day.